concluding session on the series of developing Fortitude of Forgiveness. Last 3 days we have been discussing many different aspects of forgiveness. We started from willingness and the openness to forgive someone in our life because of our own welfare, because of our own good. And then we discussed that how if we latch on to the past resentful experiences, then how negatively it impacts us. And especially the resentfulness, the grudges, the anger toward that person, toward ourselves, toward that situation really holds us toward the lower forms of energies and does not allow us to create something fresh and new in our life. In the third session we discussed about different conditioning what we ourselves may have and different ways I may be responsible in contributing to the pain which I had experienced because of that hurtful incident. So today it's gonna be more pleasant and we are going to conclude this series wherein we are going to discuss about different steps. It will be more or less integration of all the 8 sections we have seen in the last 3 days, and we'll be just describing them in brief. So let us move in the steps of forgiveness. So first and the foremost important thing in forgiveness is that our openness and realizing that forgiving someone is my choice, and we can realize that forgiveness is a choice by understanding that I am in power. We also did an exercise in the first session of this series wherein I asked you to say that I cannot forgive this person versus I am not willing to forgive this person. So I cannot, when we say I cannot forgive this person, it means I am giving the power in that person's hand. And when I say I am not willing to forgive this person, it means I have the power and I am choosing not to forgive this person. So first of all, acknowledging that the power lies with me and I have that free will, I can choose my free will to forgive that person for my own betterment. So acknowledging that is a first and foremost thing to be able to move forward in this beautiful journey. Second step would be to confront and release your emotions. Because what happens once we go through some emotional accidents with someone in our life whom we had a lot of expectation and that person broke our expectations, and we go through it's like when you go through a physical accident, you get hurt, you get injured, and you have a wound, you go to doctor, you cure that wound by properly taking care of it. Similarly, we also have psychological wounds, we also have emotional wounds, we also have emotional accidents. So when we go through emotional accidents, what happens is we get wounded, but we have covered it up. We say nothing happened to me, I am strong enough, I will not feel pain, I will not cry, I will show you who you are. So basically what happens is we try to run away from our own emotions, especially the anger, resentfulness, sad, disheartened. We really don't like to deal with negative emotions. And unless there's a principle, very powerful principle, what we resist persists. If we try to resist those hard and strong emotions, the more we try to hide them, the more they'll keep becoming stronger and the more they will have power over me. So confronting your emotions and releasing them by experiencing your emotions, not hiding them. One of the most important aspects of forgiving and steps of forgiving is ability to see life ability to see situation from the offender's perspective. We sometimes get so much lost in our own world, and because we are experiencing that wound, we are experiencing that pain, so it's become difficult for us to see from other person's standpoint. And to be able to see situation from somebody else's perspective, we need to have compassion, we need to have bit of an empathy, we need to understand that what that other person may also be going through in his own personal life, what might have forced him to act in a certain way which is not completely unaligned with this relationship. So basically, the whole idea is to be able to see the situation from that person's perspective, and to be able to come out from our own world. That's very important, and that is gonna be very, very important part of our meditation today. So this is very powerful. This step is very important. This step means to understand that offender was not really trying to hurt you. Then what was he trying to do? If the offender was not trying to hurt me, then what was really happening? Actually, that offender was trying to protect himself. The person who hurted you, and because of that you are experiencing a lot of sadness, negativity, anger, enviousness, shame, guilt. That person might have done something to you, but really not to hurt you as per se, but to protect and to make himself feel good. Because some people are sadistic in nature, they like to be happy by hurting other. So primary thing is not to hurt you, but to protect himself or to be happy within himself. This also helps us understand a point that how weak a person was when he was trying to hurt me to protect himself. Understanding that how weak that person is, how vulnerable that person is, he may be experiencing very strong amount of greed. That's why he may be trying to hurt me. That person may be trying to protect his own. Maybe he was very angry at some other things. Maybe he was angry at himself. That's why he did not behave properly with me. So again, it was not about me, it was about that person. So when we understand that it is not about me, it is about that person, it becomes easier for us to impersonalize the pain. And the moment we are able to impersonalize the pain, our hurt decreases, and it's much easier for us to let go of that negative emotion. Because what happens if somebody comes and say that it is you are a bad person, that's why I'm hurting you. So hurt gives one level of pain, but the another level of pain comes when we think, oh, I'm a bad person, that's why I got hurt. When somebody go to the prison house, somebody go to the jail, somebody go to the rectification center, it's one pain is that they are experiencing restrictness, they have been restricted, and they are experiencing very limited life, painful life. That is one level of pain. The second level of pain is, oh, I am a criminal. What will my family think about me? What will my relative think about me? What will my friends think about me? That is deeper pain than the actual pain which you are experiencing. So when we impersonalize the pain, we understand it's not about me. I am not a bad person. I am not a person which he was thinking me to be. But it was his own issues that made him react in a certain way. That is a very important point here. So yes, this is a small exercise for all of you. And the exercise is, sometime we feel that we should not forgive somebody unless that person comes and asks forgiveness from me. Or we should not forgive somebody because it is unless justice comes, I will not forgive that person. Or I cannot forgive somebody who was close and family friends to me. I can forgive somebody else, but I cannot forgive my family and close friends. So now I request you, or I invite you, because I think on your screen you can see different belief system which prevents us from forgiving. So small exercise for all of you. See that why you are not able to forgive, which of the belief you are carrying with yourself, which restricts you, which prevents you, which does not allow you to forgive someone. So you can just see the screen, you will have all those different beliefs in front of you, and I would request you to please type on the chat section that what is your belief that discourage you, that prevent you from forgiving. Even you may have some other beliefs apart from these, they're just like some basic generic belief I could gather. If you have some other beliefs which you feel is there with you that you are not able to forgive, because it's very important to identify our belief system, our limiting beliefs, our restricting beliefs, which are disabling me to go further in my life. I cannot feel any other way but hurt. Yeah, unless I hurt, I'm hurt. I'm not able to move on. I cannot feel other way but hurt. Yes, that hurt is very deep, that I am not able to feel any other emotions. No emotion of compassion, no emotion of love, care, and no emotion. But I am deeply hurt. I cannot really help. It's a very strong emotion. Only minor offenses can be forgiven. Yeah, big offenses cannot be forgiven. A person should be punished for the major offenses. I would request all of you to please write your beliefs, which will help you eventually in releasing those restrictive behaviors and restrictive beliefs. So when we say I cannot feel any other way but hurt, so we are limiting ourselves only to experience hurt, or we are defining ourselves with that hurt. Because if we let go of that hurt, then I cannot feel sorry about myself. If I cannot feel sorry about myself, then that person, will be no possibility that person will come ever to apologize. Or another possibility of we feel only hurt and no other feeling is that we are not able to process our feelings, and we are not able to accept that I am getting hurt. We're trying to run away from hurt, and more we try to run away from hurt, the more we'll feel hurt. Forgiving means condoning wrong action. Yeah, very important. If you forgive someone, means we are kind of giving encouragement to the wrong action. Yes, some abuses like physical, verbal can be forgiven, but not other abuses. Yeah. So in all these belief systems, see what is happening is I am restricting myself not to experience. Forgiveness gives us freedom. So forgiveness is equal to freedom. And the moment we have the conditional forgiveness means, let's say, unless somebody comes and apologize, or if I forgive, then I will be encouraging wrong actions. So we feel we'll be encouraging wrong actions because we are not able to set strong boundaries after we are forgiven. We are not able to set strong boundaries, that's why we feel that wrong action will be encouraged. And so again, forgiveness also does not mean that you don't do your duty of fighting for justice. We can call out for the offender, we can call out for the wrong action of a person, but forgiveness is more of an internal mechanism, internal phenomena. And forgiveness is there for you, not for other person. You may not even have to tell other person that you have forgiven him. In forgiveness, the beautiful part is you don't even have to go and tell someone that you have forgiven that person. So if someone don't even know that you are forgiven, then how you would condone wrong actions? And if something has happened to you, you can fight for the justice, or other kind of abuses might have happened to you. But to keep your balance, to keep your energy balance, and to keep you internally energetically hygiene in a peaceful state, forgiveness is important. I hope I am able to give you a bit of clarity. So all these different belief system what we have, let's say feeling hurt is again taking responsibility for my own emotions and try to heal them. And then when I heal them, then automatically it's easy for me to forgive someone. So again, the forgiveness is more of an internal mechanism. You really don't have to say and stop fighting for justice, or the only thing what happens is emotionally, energetically we liberate ourselves. We can be in same physical space fighting for the justice and trying to do our duties. That forgiveness does not mean not doing your duties. Forgiveness is a duty you have towards yourself, and the duty towards the action, duty towards society, duty toward your family. If some person, serious offenders are still in the space, they have to be punished. For that you have to do your duty. But beyond a certain point, I don't let it come inside my internal space. So that's the idea. So I would encourage for you to see how you can replace this limiting belief by a more positive belief. So for an example, only minor offenses can be forgiven. I am developing unconditional forgiveness capabilities, something like this. So maybe I encourage all of you to develop an statement which is counteracting your belief about forgiveness. So it's a small homework for you. You can have your belief with yourself, and you can see how you can replace that with more positive belief, and which encourages you to forgive. At the same time, you remain in alignment with your own integrity. Okay. So that is very important thing, that recognizing how detrimental effect resentment has on us. We had one of the exercises where we had done that, how resentment is impacting you physically, emotionally and spiritually. How detrimental, how negative impact it has brought on you. And that is one question. And also visualizing how you would feel if you become free of that resentment. Resentment is like a bondage, like a shackled. Internally you are shackled by that person's thought always. That person has become more powerful than your own action, than your own liking and disliking and your own principles and values. That person has been given more importance, that person's thought has been given more importance than anything else in my life, because my emotional space is my space. My emotional space, my internal space belongs to me. So I cannot allow somebody who did wrong to me to acquire a large amount of that space, because large amount of that space is supposed to be for my needs, for my satisfaction, for my desires, and for my overall well-being, spiritual well-being. But if I hold on to that resentment, how negatively that is impacting me, and how much bandwidth it has captured, it has taken from me, emotional bandwidth. So now if you become free of that resentment, then visualization at how much relieving it would be. That's a very important step. Recognizing, analyzing how negatively this negative thought is impacting me, and what will happen to me if I get go of that resentment, how positively I will feel. That is a very important question which you can ask from yourself. And also, we discussed last time that our offender, the person who is offending us, is actually our teacher. He is bringing a lessons which we need to learn in our life. We had a whole discussion yesterday that how we had this exercise also, that if so many wrong things happened to me in my life and they have given me so many lessons, so many gifts. Every painful situation has given us some reward, some gift, some values, some lessons, some wisdom. So if given an opportunity, all those painful experiences will be wiped out, but along with that, all those lessons, values, wisdom, gifts also will be wiped out. I would prefer rather not to remove the painful situation, so that my lessons, my wisdom continues in my life. And if I keep hold of my wisdom, of my values, of my learnings, and of my gifts, then I will not allow myself to be in a situation again to have the painful experiences. So by removing one painful experience, I am opening door for many more painful experiences in the future. And by opening window of one painful experience, I am closing all the other door of other painful experiences by having that wisdom, learning, and knowledge from that experience. So to be able to see that that person has taught me some lessons, that is very important step of forgiveness. And as we discussed, that being able to empathize with that person's, the person who offended us, who hurted us, she himself must have been going their own difficulties, their own sorrow in their own life. For example, yesterday what happened, there was one lady, she called me up in the morning time. She said that my bike is been stolen, and she was very hurt. She was extremely hurt that her bike was being stolen, and she was feeling angry, she was feeling grudgeful, she was feeling envious, she was like crying and doing whole sort of emotional ruckus. And then she came to know that there was a group of teenagers who were very poor and who did not have means to purchase a bike, and they wanted that for their own work, has stolen her bike. So now you see that the group of teenagers were going through their own difficulties, were going through their own challenges. That is why they came and stolen something out of us. So again, it does not justify their action. I am not saying it is justifiable. We can justify the person's action with that empathy. No, it means that to be able to see other person's perspective, so it helps you forgiving. That's the whole idea, and you don't carry that grudges for a long time, and you become free. And again, in the same line, compassion. Eric Hoffer has said that compassion is the antitoxic of the soul. Where there is compassion, even the most poisonous impulses remains relatively harmless. Because when we have those grudges, we will also go and try to hurt that person. We will also try to go and do something wrong to that person. Because that's the nature of anger, that's the nature of hurt. You're burning within. That fire is there, fire of anger. That will go somewhere. Either it will go and hurt you, or it will go and hurt someone else. So, but when we are able to connect with higher source, with the higher self, we are able to have more compassion. So, with the help of compassion, we can diffuse, or we can rather extinguish the fire of anger. Otherwise, that anger will keep on burning us. So compassion is such a powerful tool, and we have been discussing that how come this offender is a teacher in my life is because he's pushing me to go higher and higher in my consciousness, spiritual consciousness. If we don't have to forgive anybody, then there is less possibility that you will develop compassion. If you have to forgive somebody, means you have to rise yourself to develop this nature, this quality of compassion. Otherwise, you cannot completely forgive that person. So it means that that person has taught me how to develop higher values, compassion. And another important point is appreciation that we discussed last day. Appreciating somebody and seeing that, although yesterday I was reflecting back after discussing about appreciation, and I was just reflecting back that appreciation comes from respect. Unless we respect somebody, we cannot appreciate anybody, isn't it? Our appreciation comes from respect. And there are 5 different ways by which we can understand that everybody deserves some respect. Very interesting thing. So, first level of respect is the respect of existence itself. Oh, that person is existing, that person is a soul, and that person is a conscious being. So, means intrinsically he is respectful. Intrinsically, everybody is a spirit soul. Intrinsically, everybody has a spiritual spark in them. Just because of ignorance, they are acting in a way which is obnoxious, but their soul is always pure. So, at least on the spiritual platform, we can understand that he's a soul, she's a soul, and that is respectful, that is to be respected. So, at least a basic appreciation can come for that person's existence itself. And then we have another layer of respects, that we respect somebody because of that person has some good qualities, or that person has some position, or that person has some, he's or she's more higher in number of years of experiences. So a person you respect because a person has some good qualities. Let's say he's very compassionate, he's very empathizing, somebody is very powerful with that position, you respect that person. A person is being given certain responsibilities, he has some certain higher duties, that person you can respect. So the respect angle, we can respect everyone because of one of the reason or other. And the basic respect can flow that that person exists and that person is a spirit soul. And even we can respect animals, we can respect ants because they are after all spiritual spark, part and parcel of Krishna, and we can appreciate even their existence. So ability to find out some bit of an appreciation in that offender will really help you creating that internal atmosphere to be ready to forgive someone. So I would recommend all of you to take these recommended steps if you want to really forgive.